Hey everyone, my name's Gunther, and welcome back to another episode of Frostpunk 2, where we attempt to survive the frozen wastelands of wherever we are. I'm really kind of curious where we are on the world map, but we have a lot ahead of us, and this game, it can be quite a bit of a struggle. More so because it seems like you're always chasing something, and yeah, it's no different for Frostpunk 2. Frostpunk 1 was just as insane, and Frostpunk 2 is no different. So I think it's time for us to fix a few issues. Number one is if we take a look at our food, we can see that our stockpile is decreasing. We don't produce enough. We're actually taking quite a bit from our stockpile, 121. So we need to satisfy that. And that's, I think, our first problem. So easiest way to do that, set up a food district. It's not going to provide us enough initially, but that's okay. We can make this work. So we'll go ahead and set that up. And that pretty much used up all of our heat stamps. So now it's a waiting game. Now, speak of the devil, our stockpiles have depleted. Steward, our initial stockpiles of food have run out. Current output will satisfy some of the demand, but the problems will mount over time. We must expand our districts or establish new ones to provide more supply. Otherwise, the city and us will suffer. Good thing we're already kind of satisfying that. Now, at the end of the first episode as well, we started making our way to this particular old station. We do need to kind of go and start exploring the Frostland. We can kind of see a little bit of it there. So this is going to be how we kind of explore it, and we need to kind of get that set up. In order to do so, we do need to construct a logistics district. So there's a few things associated with our logistics district. We do have a material surplus. So we are producing 220 a day. We're only using 170, and we need another 50 for our logistics district. It's going to tap us out from a materials perspective. We need to keep that in mind. Now, on top of that, if you look around, we have only one more coal deposit, I think, I can see from here. Now, something I didn't touch on in the first episode is how heat works in this particular version of Frostpunk. So in Frostpunk 1, you had to update your generator in order to produce more heat and protect your population. In Frostpunk 2, the amount of heat your generator produces is equal to the amount of coal that you provide or fuel that you provide. Initially, we only have access to coal, and there is some technology you can unlock to kind of provide you more. But sometimes, in this particular version of the beta, it's not available. So we do need to start producing more coal in order to survive the colder months. So the best way to do that is to set up another district. So in our first episode, we did expand our district, and we also turned on a fuel depot and a dust coal mine. So that's going to help us out. We can unlock, if we take a look here, we can unlock advanced coal mines. We do need some more money to unlock this. So 100 food stamps, or heat stamps, if you will. But there might be a better way to do this. And this is kind of where we need to figure out the benefit of going one way or the other. So when we look at our coal mines, which I actually think maybe we actually already did this. Extraction, dust coal mine. Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong one. Advanced coal mines is what we want to look at. So advanced coal mines will provide us 240 coal output, which is actually significant. And if we look at our district, we can see that we have quite a bit, 359 weeks of coal remaining. The game can only run for 300 weeks, so we may get away with just researching that particular one. So we'll have to keep that in mind. We also have our hothouse coming. So if we look at our food, we can see bio-waste drums. We're going to go ahead and expand that. That's going to satisfy the majority of our food, I think. I think that's going to help us out. We can also expand the district as well. So let's expand this way. There we go. We are going to have to eventually remove this particular district. The reason why is we're going to run out of wood shortly. And we have backup, though. We have some iron ore, and we have a large abundance of wood right here. So I think each node is 90,000. So we have quite a bit that we can kind of lean on and work with. Now, on top of that, the city grows. Steward, a new count has revealed significant growth in our population in recent weeks. Some attribute this rise to an influx of settlers from the Frostland, others to births outnumbering deaths. Whatever the cause, we have adjusted our calculations of the city's needs to reflect the new number. So we've gained roughly 1,600 more people. This is a good thing because we always need a workforce, but it's also a bad thing because more workforce means more food. And sometimes we just don't have the ability to sustain the population that we have. So we always have to kind of chase that. We can see that as an example, our common goods requirement is going up, our materials requirements going up. We actually now have a large dip in our overall material use. So knowing that, I think our next, as much as I want to get a logistics center, I think our next one's going to be an iron ore, another extraction district. Now, on top of that, we have an issue, feral children. Steward, 5 children are dead and dozensly wounded after 2 large youth gangs met for what they called a rumble. Most of the children were armed with knives. The fighting escalated to a full-scale battle. As the parents of the deceased mourn, many insist these children should not have been left unattended. Indeed, many backstreet alleys seem to be overtaken by uncared-for youth. Some areas are beginning to be dangerous even for adults. So we definitely need to commit to solving this issue, which is going to require us to pass a law, and this comes at the perfect time because our council is just about to end our recess. Now, in our first episode, we provided a favor to the foragers. So if we give them, we grant our wish, which is they get to call the next law proposal, we're not going to be able to kind of do what we want to do, but we do need to figure out this family issue. So we're going to go ahead and click on childhood, and we have 2 options. We can go with family apprenticeship, which is a percentage of active workers is slightly increased, or we can do mandatory school. So we can have research speed is slightly increased, but our heat stamp income per capita is slightly decreased. So there's benefits to both. Do we want more workers, or do we want more research? For me, I feel like research is the more important thing. And on top of that, mandatory school is something that I think everybody should go to. Surprisingly, the same. So a lot of people, they're pretty divided on this, but we should be able to propose this and pass without really any issue. We do need 51 votes, so we are going to go ahead and see what we can get. Hopefully we pass. Sometimes we are, sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. It's coming through. Surprisingly, the majority of the population is happy with this decision for mandatory school. So just like that, we've created a law, passed a law for school. Now on top of that, we can go here, we take a look at our research. We have quite a few things that we can research. Logistics bays would give us an additional Frostland out teams. We have goods factories, which I believe increases the amount of goods at an offset of heat. But we are getting into a colder time, so I think it is time for us to research advanced coal mines. Now we have 2 options. We have a deep shaft coal mine, which is going to require 400 workforce, 60 materials demand. So we're going to have a materials issue, and then it's going to take up all of our cores, which I think I'm okay with that. Alternatively, we can go with 280 less workforce, but squalor is going to be significantly increased. You know what? We haven't shown a whole lot of love to the machinists, so let's go ahead and can't even afford it. Just shy. There we go. So it is a hectic game in the sense that you're always chasing something. So we're going to go ahead and develop this idea. It's going to take 100 heat stamps. We should get them back fairly quickly. We're at 13 right now, which is nice. We can actually start to see that our mandatory school law has passed, which is resulting in a -1 deficit, which is not ideal, but I think we have to kind of make do with what we're doing. Now, on top of that, we are facing some sick issues. We're starting to see that kind of crop up. What do we hear? Dr. Roberta Newman, 27, chemist. I doubted the brotherhood of man, yet when I came here with nothing, the city let me in without question. I doubted my children would live a better lives than I, yet here their minds are improved in schools. This made me realize what the city can become. The times of mere survival are gone. We must organize. A brighter tomorrow is within our reach. So our technocrats are formed in support of accept all outsiders and mandatory school. So because we went with particular laws, we have a new community that's formed. And the technocrats. So they represent 6% of the city. Tech-minded and calculating people recruiting those who value a cold and rational argument. And their manifest is 1, progress. Machines, automation, and technology is the only path to move beyond survival into prosperity. Equality simulations prove that equality of all citizens is the only model that does not ultimately lead to collapse. And then reason. Everything can be resolved through a rational argument. Reason should guide us through challenges or changes we require. It kind of gives us some laws that they seek to pass. So city development efforts, supported quarantine, and harvesting funerals. Kind of dark. So we're going to go ahead and see. We don't have a choice. Our technocrats have formed. We have no choice. But now we have a new faction within our city. So we have to keep that in mind. Now we should have enough for us to. Oh, not quite. We need 150. I was hoping we we're going to be able to get our logistics depot up and running. What do we have here? Max Horkenheimer, 29, a researcher. Looks at the technocrats members leaving the institute. They keep looking at my hands. Every day they come and pester me about my work. What are you doing right now? Can we push the other research along? Why are you halting the drafting of the law we discussed yesterday? They want to influence what we do. Technocrats. Technocrats want to steer the city closer to their ideals, which makes sense. Everybody would want to kind of do that. So we can kind of see a few things here. We can fund their projects, minus hit 50 heat stamps, will improve our relationships with them. We can make a promise, grant agenda, promote. We do have to grant the agenda for the forager. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We have time for that. And our trust with them is going to improve. And then I think we have a new law that we have to pass. Expedition support. This is going to give us exploration time decreased with our Frostland team. So that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and vote for that. I think it's going to be an easy win. Everybody's already for it, so can't go wrong. It's always nice when their laws are in line with your laws, so I'll take it. 60% of the population are for this, and then we can also see now that we're dealing with a few issues. So again, we're always chasing that end of that tail. So we have squalor, minor issues with squalor, minor disease issues, and minor crime issues. A lot of this is not fixable. We need to get more materials, and I think that's the important thing. So let's go ahead, and as much as I want to set up a logistics depot, we need these we need this extraction zone going. So we're gonna have to hold off just a little bit. I think we almost close to the coal mine. We're gonna get hit a little bit with some cold. I think we're gonna suffer a little bit, and our stockpile is not doing too bad. We are building our stockpile up steadily. But we'll see what happens shortly. And when I shortly, I mean by right now, I think. The only thing I'm kind of annoyed about is the fact that this cuts off. Before, you used to see like where your day was and then how far away it is. I'm not a huge fan of this curve because you can't really see what's going on. But suffice to say, perfect timing. We do have our dust blasting coal mine. It's going to take more materials, which we really don't have. And we can't place it here. Nerds. Looks like we've already placed, because we placed the depot. So we do need to start expanding outwards. Nothing lost. Steward, our bio-waste drum hothouse has begun cooperating with people who forage for food additives in the Frostland. On top of their regular duties, they provide it with leaves, animal carcasses, and feces in order to enrich the compost. This will no doubt increase our food output, so our bio-waste drum hothouse produces more food thanks to forage additives. So our food is fixed for now, anyway. I think we're okay. We're moving in the right direction. We have an issue though. We can see that our wood is slowly running out. So let's start making our way up here. Start uncovering everything there. We have our materials that's finally starting to create a stockpile, moving in the right direction. And we have another event. Sue Miller 12 pupil. The rabbit took a watch out of its waist coat pocket. How come no one shanked him and took it away? Are rabbits even real? Gotta ask Miss. Reading's hard, but it's fun, and you rarely get cut. Mabel whines it doesn't help scouts in the Frostland, and how do you read the maps? Is what I answer that tosser. One day I'll write books myself with plenty of sword fights and no snow. So we can see that the mandatory school is actually providing a better future for our children, which is always nice. I love these little tidbits where you can kind of see into the mind of your population. I think it's really cool. Now we do have enough for a logistics outpost finally. So let's go ahead and set this up. We need to get our logistics outpost going. I do appreciate that the paths are auto deployed this go around. Before it wasn't. It was very frustrating. You would build something and you'd run out of resources because you thought that you had enough, and you just didn't. You just didn't quite have enough. Now our coal mine is all the way over here, so we need to make our way that way. So let's go ahead, kind of clear this area out. It's going to take the rest of our heat stamps, which is unfortunate. And our logistics depot is ready. We can now start scouring the Frostland. So this is the new aspect. And there's a few things associated with our Frostland. So we see, we're just going to pause the game so nothing happens while we're going around. We can see that we have a little tag right here. So just around the river band, we followed a petrified river up through the frost and spotted a sharp bend north of here. Could be an indicator of underground resources, likely oil or gas, which is exactly what we want to see. Now you can also set down paths. Now, how the paths work, super easy. What this does is it reduces the time it takes your Frostland teams to travel. And how you set it up is you kind of just create your own. Now, every time that you create a pin, going the wrong way, but every time you create a pin, you can see the cost going up. It takes how long it takes our Frostland teams to create it and how many food stamps or heat stamps it's going to take. Now, it's not ideal. We don't have the heat stamps to risk on that, so we are going to check the valley though. It's super easy. We already have our Frostland team. We have 10 Frostland teams, so we need 10. And we're going to go ahead and launch an expedition. Safe territory, fastest chart, few Frostland teams required. Now, if we were to maybe take a look at mountains as an example, we require significantly more. And part of the reason why is because it's unsafe territory, so it's slow to chart, and that's why we require more Frostland teams. So we kind of have to balance out where we want to go. In this case, we're going to go ahead and send an expedition out to the valley, see what we can find. We also have the plains up here as well, so we can see possible findings, food. We have more food up here, so this could satisfy some of our food needs, but I like to think that we're doing okay for our food, so we don't necessarily need anything. And we can start to see that our squalor is absent, still have a disease issue. Now, there is a way for us to maybe satisfy disease. First things first, maybe we can figure out funerals. So we have two options available to us. Harvesting funerals. The deceased will be harvested for their healthy body parts used to support city healthcare. Unharvested remains will be incinerated and the ashes transferred to relatives. Very dark. And then we had bodies must be buried untouched after traditional funeral to show proper respect to the departed. So trust loss resulting from deaths is decreased. Trust is always going to be an important thing. But are we facing that issue right now? I don't think so. I really don't. We also have contagion prevention, which is going to decrease disease. Tension is slightly increased with infection badge, or we can go with supported quarantine. It's going to increase the amount of shelter, decrease the amount of shelter that we have available to us. We also have under survival, what do we have? Goods. Goods might be good because this could actually increase the overall amount of heat stamps that we have. So we have mass-produced goods and we have durable goods. So forages request durable goods. Goods demand per capita is marginally increased. Let's go with significantly increased. We could always use a surplus of goods with low cost. Oops, my apologies. We go ahead and propose that, and we're going to immediately vote because it looks like we're doing pretty good. 30 are already for it. We really only need 13 more people to vote for it. And it was close. I have yet to see a law fail, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's around the corner. And just like that, we can see our crime is now absent and our disease is still there. We're still facing that. Program war. Steward. People are increasingly arguing over the curriculum taught in schools. Some think we should reduce theoretical knowledge and provide more survival training. We're filling these kids' heads with numbers and useless junk, complained an angry trapper. We ought to take them on field trips to hunt. Others argue for the exact opposite. We need to teach children how to think and come up with a new solution instead of perpetuating outdated practices, says an engineer. What should we do? So now we're given another option. So this is another aspect of Frostpunk 2 that we have to take into consideration. We want to keep everybody happy. We want to keep a balanced trust with everybody. So we have focus on survival, which is mandatory school no longer increases research speed, but provides food instead, and relations slightly improve with foragers. Mandatory school increases research speed even more, or we can go with balanced, which is relations marginally worse in all communities, but no benefit. So I'm not really in the mood for balanced education. I feel like food is always going to be an issue, more so because we have a finite amount of it. So let's go ahead and go with food. It's not often I agree that maybe we need to go that route, but today I think we do. Now we have enough food stamps. We can start making our way over here to this coal mine. Maybe one more and we'll be able to kind of finish it. And it's going to be perfect because if you look right here, we can see a whiteout is coming. So what is a whiteout? A whiteout will engulf the area. Hang on, let's see if we can hover over. There we go. Materials production from frozen forest will be impossible. Temperature will drop by up to 20 degrees. Areas under whiteout will be impossible to explore. And Frostland sites under whiteout will be cut off and disabled. So this is the onset of a large storm that we have to kind of face. And this is the Utopia mode, which really means it's endless. So we do have to keep in mind that there's going to be a lot of stuff like that kind of going on in the background. Now we are running out of our resources here. 20 weeks left. We are going to let this run out. And here's the benefit. We can demolish our district and we can recoup some of our heat stamps. And this is going to help us fund the new district that we're going to set up right here. So we're moving in the right direction. Now, the other thing we have to always keep in mind is our stockpile of coal. We never want to hit our full stockpile cap, because when you do, that means that you're no longer going to store coal, and that's not ideal. We want to make sure that we're always storing coal and never letting any of it go to waste. So you do have to manage your resources. If we find that your stockpile is kind of tapped out, you need to make sure that you're stockpiling correctly. So on that note, We do need another stockpile house, but we're in an issue where we actually don't have any workforce. We're significantly down on workforce. So there's a way we can fix this. We have quite a few absent people out and about, more so because they're not doing so healthy. So we can go to hospitals under our society tab, and we can research hospitals. We don't have the heat stamps for it, but we can see here we have two options. We have teaching hospital and hospital. So I'm thinking diseases significantly decreased, 10% research speed. Diseases decreased. For an extra 100 workforce, we can get an additional plus 10 research speed, which research is always important. So let's save up for that and then see what happens. An old enemy, Steward. It was only a matter of time. We had an unusually long streak of mild weather, but now meteorologists are clear. There's a familiar drop in the air pressure at high altitudes. A whiteout is coming. The wind will cause extreme cold and clouds will blot out the sun. Without shelter and ample fuel, our people will be at mortal risk. We have to prepare. So now we have a dilemma. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have 12 weeks left on our Valley expedition, so I think we're gonna be fine. It's 190 days. We're currently sitting at 104 weeks. So I think we're okay. We're making our way. And Willem Hoff 37 Hunter, we have a new faction, the Icebloods. The city is changing. We started a family here. We bore children. We toiled against the hardships like everybody else. But now these technocrats, they talk about telling people what to do, what to think. What they sprout, though, is utter folly against everything that made us I. We will not have it. The fate of our children is at stake. We will chart the path for our city. And we have our fourth community grow, which is now going to be our Icebloods. They actually align very much with Foragers, so you can kind of see 2 and 2 right now. But in fact, the Foragers have left to form the Icebloods. They are a fan of adaptation, merit, and tradition, and they're really focusing on durable goods, allow productive outsiders, and family apprenticeships. So it's not bad. We're facing quite a few different issues as we kind of go around, and we can actually see that our stockpile of coal is now depleted. And this is what I mean by our heat. So we have 160 unfulfilled heated rooms or houses or people, I guess. And this is a result of not having enough fuel. But we have an abundance of heat stamp finally. So let's go ahead and fix that because we do need to start working for it. Alas, we don't have the workforce. So we do need to wait a little bit. We're going to see our population growth shortly. We are 93% of the way there. And our heat demand has decreased, which is fantastic. All right, another update. Abe Chambers, 90, former shipwright, 90 years old, 90 summers, well, winter's more like. I've had a good life, I guess. Well, I've had a life anyway. Not everyone in the old Queen Tithe crew can say the same. I'd always thought I'd be sharing my Liddy's grave, but now Pete's pressuring me to donate my body to the city. Apparently, them doctors are using dead folks' skin to fix up frostbite or something. Can't they leave me alone? Haven't I been through enough? We're causing tension because we do not have a law regulating funerals, so interesting. So we do need to figure that out. And on top of that, we have a looming cold. As the cold problem in our city continues to worsen, we must take action to protect our citizens. In these harsh conditions, people need a roof over their heads and enough heat to warm their homes. Is the generator powerful enough to heat the city, or do we need to extract more fuel? If our current methods aren't enough, we should consider alternatives. Our cold has risen. So we're going to satisfy that because I think we've... What's our coal demand is 349 because we're bringing in more population. So that's the downside of bringing in population is that your coal it affects how much you can kind of heat up. But it's good. We finally have our extraction depot. So let's go ahead and start unlocking this. So our extraction depot set up. We also need another housing district. But before we do that, let's see if we can actually just expand. I think expanding might be the better way to go. Expand that one. We can expand here as well. And that satisfies, I think that's going to satisfy some of our housing needs, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the last thing we're going to do in today's episode is we're going to take a look at this colonizing the Frostland. So this is our ambition. This is what we want to do. And we can see right here that we've reached the oil-treated sledges. We stumbled upon an abandoned caravan of sledges long since picked clean. Closer inspection revealed wood had been treated with oil, a crude but effective method of waterproofing. Frozen tracks indicate that the sledges came from the northwest. So if we look right here, we can see a new location is unlocked. And we have the meager coal mine. So more than enough coal remains to be sent back to the city, which is fantastic. That's going to satisfy some of the issues. We also have plains. It's safe territory. We're going to potentially find some materials. I think the more important thing here is going to be coal. We definitely need coal. So build a trail or a railway to a path to this location. So this is what I mean by we need to set up. We need to get right here is where we need to get. Do we have to go all the way around? Shoot. So I think we need to figure out where we're going to place our logistics hub. We may need to move our logistics hub all the way over here. So it looks like that way station is set up to go this way, and then we have another way station that's set up to go this way. Our current way station is set up to go this way, so not ideal. So I didn't even think that it would matter where we placed our logistics. Now on top of that, we ran into an issue. Our extraction depot is now empty, so we're going to go ahead and demolish this. We're going to have some of our heat stamps back. While we're doing that, we can also set down a new one, and we can actually try to cover as much of this area as possible, and that's going to maximize our overall use. So just like that, we've run out, but we've planned for the future already, and we're finally stockpiling some additional fuel. Not a whole lot, not enough to make it really count, but we can fix that by placing down under extraction, not a blasting furnace. There we go. And just like that, I think we're moving in the right direction. Materials, it's going to satisfy shortly. We do need to expand a little bit more, but maybe we can no. a lot's happening right now. It's fun. A rowdy funeral. Steward, there was a shameful display during a wake yesterday. Some of the deceased family wanted a traditional burial, while others complained about wasteful antics and said the body should be donated to further the city's healthcare. This could save people's lives, was answered with, "I won't risk my father's soul." And as people were more heated, they eventually came to blows in the aftermath of the fight. The bodies disappeared, and each side suspects the other of foul play. Sadly, this is not an isolated incident. Maybe we need to find a common rules to get everyone on the same page. We will commit to solving this. But I think that is the perfect time for us to end this episode. We've made some additional growth. We are hoping to fix our housing issue. We have so many issues. It's one thing after the other. We found a coal mine, so that's going to satisfy a lot of our heating issues. This is fantastic. And I think we're moving in the right direction. Sadly, we don't have that many weeks left. In just 2 short episodes, we've kind of been through half of the overall demo of this game. Now, if you're liking the content so far, if you love Frostpunk, make sure you hit the like button and let me know what you think of this game. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for your support, and ciao for now, everybody.